everybody, this is Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News Nightly, and we are live. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and it's a new concept every night, Monday through Sunday, or Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. Unscripted, unedited, so bear with me. Basically, we're going to cover the headlines over the last 24 hours, so let's go ahead and get started, and here it is. This is actually a pretty cool video. It was sent to me of a rescue that's going on. Over at the jetty yesterday, I had an officer reach out to me and ask if anybody had seen it. He's actually the individual that's on the boat there, Mike. He's my ex-brother-in-law's brother, and they went out and saved this kid. You can see there's a strong current, and a little bit later you have the lifeguard come in. You can see prior to this point, he was just battling to try to go against that current to get up there to try to save the individuals. Actually, he's my own neighbor too, the guy that's on the surfboard. He just moved. So they went out there, they saved them. This is exclusive. I think the Scoop's the only one that had this out there, and doing a great job out there in some harsh conditions. And trust me, I've been out there before paddling across the inlet when I was a young kid, and it can be pretty treacherous. So kudos out there to the lifeguard. My ex-neighbor, don't know his name, but he used to live down the road. The next thing, this is a good move. This is an individual out of Inglewood, and he's been arrested by the SESO. You first saw it again here on the Scoop. We're always first with this stuff. He basically, what happened is he was arrested for a murder that took place last March, I believe it was, and an individual had passed away, a 41-year-old, due to a high level of carfentanil, and which is an opioid derivative. And it's pretty strong. It's 10,000 times more potent than morphine. He basically died from that. He had some individual that lived up in Sarasota. So through some great detective work, they went out there and surveyed the video at the nearby gas station. They found out that they kept talking to this individual on the picture, John Michaels. A medical examiner went out, did his exam on August 1st, which was just 2 days ago, and they said, yep, he definitely died as a result of intoxication of the carfentanil. So they went out and arrested this individual for murder. And if you recall, the sheriff came out and said, hey, we're going to start doing this more often. I think it was just 2 weeks ago at his press conference. Another one that was first put out here on the Scoop, but we had to change it around because the SPD put out that she was a PTO president, and someone said, no, she wasn't. And so we wanted to correct that. She's actually a volunteer. Tiffany Donovan, I thought I saw Kim Kuzon over at Fox say that she's also works over there in advertising or something like that at Sarasota Magazine, but she's been arrested on 11 counts of forged checks in a scheme to defraud. She basically stole some checks and she made them payable to the Southside Elementary Parent-Teacher Organization, but deposited them into her personal account. And they said that she stole up to $7,325, and this happened back in December. You see this a lot with these organizations. I was part of looking into an audit with a Pop Warner team here, and it was strange when this one person was in place. They never had any money. They were always broke. When that individual left, next thing you know, their bank's accounts exploded. And so you see it a lot, unfortunately. MPPD, Northport Police Department, illegal ATV riding. It's causing havoc out there at the Makachi Creek Environment Park. You know, I've seen this before. They've gone after actually sitting and trying to ticket people, and I guess they're paying more attention to it now because it is causing some damage out there to that park. They just, common sense, look, we don't want you out there tearing up the land. It's going to cost extra money. It's going to cost you with penalties and everything else to go out there and take care of any mess that you create by illegally ATVing out there. This is another one. This was a nice one, FWC. This was happening out of Siesta Key. Odo, I think, took this, and I have it too on record. And basically, you have these manatees out there swimming around, and the message is, was it illegal? And so they went out and they looked at it. And basically, they took this video and they wanted to see if the people that were surrounding them were doing anything illegal. And so basically, look, when you see manatees like that, you're not supposed to get in there and swim with them, touch them. Look from the shore. I see them all the time when I'm out there surfing and paddleboarding. And, you know, I don't go out of my way to try to touch them. You just don't want to do that. So enjoy the beauty of them from afar, I think, is the message that was being sent out. A couple of FWC type things today. This is just the arrest report I put out there. A lot of arrests lately, and it's strange if you guys go through these. A lot of drugs. You got sexual assault with a weapon, force sexual battery of a 12-year-old or younger. This guy, Jackson Dinathy. Um, do not like to hear that kind of stuff. So let's see what this goof below looks like. There he is right there, of a 12-year-old or younger. More possession of weapon and ammo for a felon with some narcotics. You got all kinds of stuff happening here. There's that Tiffany Donovan that was arrested for the banknote drafts. So if you actually pay attention to my police report that I put out every morning, you would have known about her prior to all that information coming out. There's that Issa Allen. I'm going to cover him in just a second. All right, this was interesting. I never watched this show at 7 o'clock on WWSB. I just don't like the Alan Cohns. He ran for some political office up in Tampa, a Democrat. He's very liberal on his show, and it's funny. What I don't like, I don't mind he's liberal, but he'll sit there and say that he's bringing in someone on the right and someone on the left, but they doesn't tell you that the person on the right is actually leaning more towards the left when he does this. He has the assistant city manager on there right now with Chris Brantley, the reporter, and they're basically covering the fire department. It was a softball interview. I would have been a lot harder on it because I know a lot more about it, and I think the city's been pretty negligent. And if I was Chris or Combs, I would have really laid into these guys and how they dropped the ball on it. But they cover the costs associated with it. If the city's willing to put out more money for it, basically Brantley said, I think they are. I think the city's willing to put out money for it. So we'll see what happens there. Interesting interview. These idiots, can't get enough of them. The beauty of this thing is I put it up there because now there's a new Stingray video out there. And basically he's got, oh no, this is a different one, okay. This is the Sarasota Slam, and they came out and said, look, we're not going to sponsor these guys, or not sponsor, we're not going to have them be part of our event. These guys are all big fishermen, and they're part of these different events. So the Shark Dragon crew, those 4 individuals on the boat, will not be a part of that event coming up this year. And they wanted to make sure people were aware of that. I think they were probably getting a lot of individuals contacting them with concerns. Doc Werlin, this was just interesting. He wanted to memorialize his wife. That's not him. That's the Thomas Barwin, the city manager. So he went out to this park in right there by the Ringling, and he bought a bench. He said, you know what, we could do this a lot better. And he went out and he started fixing up the park, which looks fabulous. I shared a picture of it about a week ago. And he added in more park benches and that. And he said, you know, my wife would just love it. There's the Doc Werlin there. Would just love this, and it's great. It's great that we can come here and remember her in such a beautiful park. We got this, the Coast Guard. It was a rescue. And basically, this was just off the beaches here. They actually ended up towing a boat that took in the water into Venice, and now the individual's getting ready to try to tow it back down to Punta Gorda. And they basically had to go out there and rescue him because his boat was taking in water and he was getting ready to sink. And obviously they didn't want that to happen. We never want that to happen. Sable Trace, this has been a headache for many people out there in Northport. This interesting article went in and just covered a lot of stuff that most people know about, how the previous owners screwed a bunch of individuals that paid a few thousands of dollars to get in there. And just after they paid it, the guy took off. There was some other plans to build it out as a development. I remember that a couple years ago. That fell through, and now they got this new owner in there. Not sure which direction he's going to go in, but he's pretty big in the residential development industry. So I'm thinking there's going to be some type of development, maybe bring that golf course back to life. But who knows? We'll see. That golf course sold at auction just the other day. Here it is. This is another one of the abuse guys, and I put this out yesterday. It was interesting. John Rogers with WFLA went out and he looked at the charges back in 2015 of Wenzel. I believe it was Wenzel abusing animals. And they said the biggest issue there, the FWC, is that timeline. We couldn't see if there's a statute of limitations. We didn't know how far back it went. I'm not sure what it is. I thought I saw somebody say 4 years. The stingray is protected and he shouldn't be holding it like that. But again, they said it's hard to prove anything because there's no timestamps. And I guess you would have to get individuals that would step up in regards to either the boat dragging or the stingrays or the shooting of the hammerheads. There's so many different pictures and videos out there, and so that they could try to validate the timelines. And I guess that's a huge issue out there. So WFLA just basically said, look, there's a new picture out there, and this is where we stand, and it's going to be very difficult to push charges. I mean, if you saw the pictures in 2015, it was pretty obvious what was going on there, yet nothing happened. So maybe nothing this time too. We're gonna take a quick break, and I will be right back. This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News. Maybe not so quick break. There we go. This is Frankie Abbruzzino with Telephonics.com. We are a medical consulting company that was started back in 2001. We specialize in doing medical billing for pain management, chiropractic, physical therapy, neurologist, and orthopedic. We also have experience in previously billing for OBGYN, general MD, MRIs, and much more. We use several different platforms right now, and we're willing to learn new ones or transition you to any of the platforms that we currently use. We Okay, and I'm back. And remember, this is my just first trial, so there are some production issues like that telephonics thing and the transition. So we'll get it down. So what I'd like to do now is go back to the news. And here we go. This is the next story. This is just on coyotes. It's happening throughout Sarasota County, but on the island, there's been a lot of concern because they've seen one with mange, and I've put up a few videos of it. And so this individual, Janice Stevens, is working with the city to in the Venice Wildlife Center just to familiarize people with the coyotes. It's more of an educational forum that they're going to put on. It's going to happen on August 15th at 6:30 at Venice City Hall, and she asked me to get the word out there. This individual, that's the one I was going to talk about, Alien. He was arrested. It was late yesterday. This came out. Basically, he's arrested for DUI drug charges. It's really strange. This guy basically was drunk and out there driving, and people witnessed him swerving all over the place over in Sarasota. He went to a parking lot and he met a woman there, and she entered into his back seat. And at that point, he fled from the deputies and took off on Weber. He was going about 70 miles an hour, which is pretty fast for that area. And finally, he stopped over there at Tuxford Drive. When they got him out, they found meth, they found prescription pills, a glass pipe, digital scale, and he was arrested. He was given multiple citations, as you saw in that arrest report. And this is a guy that's familiar with crime. I think this report says that he's been more than a dozen prior arrests in crimes, including aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and fleeing to elude. So he's got some definite issues in the near future. All right, and our next one, and that's the report. Like I said, so we're short on news. We've already covered this report. Again, it's a good thing if you go in there, you can see essentially where the stories are going to come from, where they're going to emulate from. A few probation violations. You get a good idea of what's going on out there in the neighborhood. And of course, always sticking with the scoop. Right there, you got the weather. It's going to be a sunny day. I think they said the rain's going to come back on Saturday. It's going to start raining more, but it's going to be more of an afternoon thing. But today we're not going to see it. This is more inland. I think they said that 40% that's going to be striking here soon. So that is your news coverage. Hopefully this is something you enjoy. Hopefully the production value will be better when I do introduce it. Again, it will go live on Facebook and Yahoo. When I do it, it will be Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News.